So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Matt from Rain City Drive.
And we're asking some questions today about the upcoming self-titled album. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been great. I feel like it's been fun putting out the singles. I know for this time we're all excited to put out the full album. I feel like we left a little more in the can than we did last time in terms of just the amount of songs on the record that aren't singles, and then also just think some of our personal favorites that aren't singles as well. So I'm excited for people to hear it as a whole.
I'm very excited to hear it. We didn't get a stream, so we were going solely off the singles here, and the singles have been great. So I'm very excited to hear the full thing.
Cool. Well, and I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of times I'll do these interviews and somebody will get the album, and I don't realize it. So I'm just acting as if they've only heard the singles, maybe. And then they're like, yeah, so I really like that. I'm like, how do you know about that song? So
who told you about that?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any reason why you made this your self-titled record, and is there any meaning behind the cover art?
So I would say, with the rebrand, it just felt right to not have there be a bunch of new stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, let's just double down on everybody learning the new name and getting behind the new vibe. The cover art is by a friend of the band, Cameron Burns. I believe is how you say his name. And he's a really cool, talented graphic artist. And he does a lot of kind of like space theme, like spaceman kind of stuff. So to me, the cover is sort of like a billboard for the album on the moon or something. It just looked cool.
Yeah.
That's super
so
sick.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah. So I would say for To Better Days, we went into the studio with less demos, less ideas, and we had to do a little more on the spot. Whereas for this effort, we had some more demos going in, which was cool, but kind of a similar process where, the guys will get some demos to a certain point where I can start working on some vocals over top of it, and maybe we'll tweak the songs a little bit. Like I think this last time, maybe we're trying to tweak the songs a little bit more to cater towards the vocal instead of sometimes it just works out, you know what I mean? Where everything just links up and I have an idea for a top line and they have a track and it just works. And, but we were, just trying to make sure everything came together nice and neat. And there's one song that I started the initial idea for, and then we kind of adapted it to work with the band, which was Psycho, which you guys haven't heard, and I know you guys haven't heard it now. But yeah, and I think for the next record, there'll be some tracks where our drummer Zach is starting like from scratch with production elements and stuff. So it's kind of fun. Whereas I feel like traditionally it'd be more like Felipe or Wes would bring in a guitar riff, and then we'd all kind of form around that. So,
oh yeah,
trying a couple of different things.
For sure. Sounds like fun. So what song off this album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
That's a good question. I guess I would say another song you guys haven't heard, which is called Ophelia, probably took the longest, because I think it was one of the first ones that we started, and then I tweaked it a little bit when it was finished, but I changed the chorus a little bit, just like made the vocal melody a little more simple. Thought it'd be a little catchier. My personal favorite is maybe a song called Eternity, which you also haven't heard, which is, again, guys, listen to the album. We left some gems on here for you guys. So, but yeah.
All right. It's what, next Friday it comes out? Spinning it at 12 o'clock right away.
Yes, sir. All right. Perfect. Great. Yeah.
So for this question, I want you to pick your favorite lyric off this album and tell us the meaning behind it.
Maybe the bridge of eternity. The dead do not dream, but I might as well try to find you again where the sea meets the sky. So I wanted to do, like the horizon and like that kind of being an embodiment of eternity. And that one's cool. There's one from If I Was Right called, or from a song called If I Was Right. Soft as a whisper, sharp as a knife. The brightest emotion made both of us blind. That was cool.
Wow.
And Ophelia is a cool one lyrically. That one was inspired by a poem by Arthur Rimbaud with the same name. So that was kind of different. I feel like it's like metaphorically autobiographical to my life still, but was inspired by another work, which was kind of, again, sort of different for me. So
that's really cool.
And that's like a song where if there was another band in our scene that was like, yeah, I did this, it's inspired by, I'd be like so jealous. Like that's the kind of like nerdy, like whatever highbrow shit that I'd just be like, oh, it's so cool. So it was fun to try to do that myself. But.
Hell yeah.
For sure. How did you approach that? Like, what was the mindset that you went into going into that, kind of making a poem into a song?
Yeah. So I think, again, that was one of the early ones. And so I was sort of just had like some book of poems on my lap and would just be like, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. And just trying to like remix stuff and just take little lines or little images and make it my own. I think I was like, it took me a minute to get the old Song Factory running again.
Yeah.
After, it had been probably a little over a year since we had, more than that, since we'd written To Better Days. So trying to get back in that mindset was a little painful at first. And I was kind of banging my head against the wall. And then once I got into a groove and, finished the first couple lyrically, then things started moving smoothly. But I guess I was just trying to just grab different things that I was inspired by initially. So that's how that one started.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Do you think you'll be doing that again with just other poems that inspire you?
I think it would be cool. I mean, it's always cool to try to, make sure you're like not repeating yourself and saying something new. And so I like the idea of that. I wanted the concept of this record to be more kind of like a positive kind of in it together sort of relationship record. Mm-hmm. And then my life just didn't go that way. So it's not about that, but I feel like this was a good, like, that type of album. And then I think the next album, I'll definitely want to, just see what else I can get into thematically. But if you need a good breakup record, I got you. So.
All right.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
So how did the track list for this album come about? Did you guys write the opener to be the opener, close it to be the closer, just kind of shuffle around, listen through a couple times? What was that process like?
Good question. That's a great question. So again, our drummer Zach, I feel like is very like set list and track list minded. Mm-hmm. And so but we all kind of agreed that Waiting on You would be a cool album opener. It just sounded just kind of, we just want something that's just going to like really pop off when you start the record. And so we knew we wanted that to be the opener before I had any lyrics written. So the track sounded great. And so then I tried to, the concept of that one was sort of like filling the listener in on like what had happened to me since we last spoke, quote unquote, on To Better Days. So it's sort of like waiting on you, waiting on this return to everything. I did this, I did that, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I knew it was gonna be the first track, but I guess if I didn't, the lyrics would be totally different. So
that makes sense.
Wow. Okay. So it was taken into consideration, like completely, like.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the album closer, if I was right, it's just sort of like we played with trying to end the album with something else, but that album just sounds like such a release and just like a closer that if we put it anywhere else, it just felt like everything else was like the bonus tracks, like bonus extended album. You know what I mean? It just had to be the last track. So yeah.
You saying things like that is getting me really excited for this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. I mean, listen, I think it's a good record. So if you guys like the last one, I have high hopes that you like this one.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So where was your headspace at while you were writing this album?
Just like I said, kind of that the album conceptually is about the end of something that you thought would last forever, I guess is what I would say. And it's a lot of, personal relationshipy kind of stuff, even more so than the last record. The last record was, had some more like more like relationships with yourself kind of struggles, like talk to a friend or like I do. It's always funny too. You'll see comments of people being like, "Oh, I guess he's not like sad about that anymore," or something. I was like, I would argue I was sadder during this process,
Yeah.
but whatever gets the good art, baby. But I'm like also big on, I want us as a group to be able to branch out and, it's like, it's so lame to think that you'd like have to be depressed to work or to make music or art or whatever. And so I feel like we tried to spread out a little bit on this one. And even if, this song, like lyrically, maybe the, content is like still a little more, down, maybe the track is a little more uplifting and fun and kind of like lighthearted. Cause I would love to be able to cover, a broad spectrum of like emotions and feelings and vibes, which, I think is slightly atypical for, a lot of rock groups.
Definitely.
So, but I think that'd be nice,
I love that mindset, because usually when we ask that question, people are just like, I was sad and I'm sad when I write every record. So I'm glad that like you're like we're trying to branch out and like make people feel as many emotions as possible.
For sure. And I mean, like, it is just depressing to be the artist in that scenario, but also like, you go back and you listen to the Beatles and stuff, and it's just like they kind of run the gambit of like all types of things and themes and topics. And so I think if there's anything that is a goal for us, it's just like to be, better than the Beatles, who are a pretty mediocre band that didn't really achieve much. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Love it. all my bandmates are like, no,
take it back.
I'm just kidding. I love the Beatles, probably, obviously, but yeah.
I think you, as a musician, I think you like have to, even if you really don't.
Yeah,
sure. We ripped on the Rolling Stones in one of our last interviews, being like, if they just keep working, hopefully they'll achieve whatever they're trying to go for.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they play in the car with friends, stuck with headphones on? Should they blast at a party, work out to it? What do you personally recommend?
Oh, what another great question. Let's go.
Thank you.
I would say, well, I mean, like, music is a utility, right? So it's like, ideally people are going to use it for one thing or another. And it's sad when people don't use it, they don't listen to it. That was always my goal growing up, was like to make something that people would actually listen to. Right. So, I'm sure you can work out to it. You can, whatever, you can put it on. I think it'd be great to just put on the headphones and just give it one rip through, and just see where it takes you. And then after that, just background, or you're going to a party, or you're going to hit a PR in the gym. But yeah, I feel like, that would be what I would say, I guess.
All right.
Sure. And how did you personally listen to the masters when you finally got them?
So we were on tour in the UK when we were getting like final mixes back. So I just had headphones, and we'd be at a, like gas station somewhere in England, and I'd be like, listen to a new mix, being like, yeah, like just like that crazy guy in the parking lot being like, woo, like TLA's killing it. But just I have one pair of headphones that I always listen on. I'm sure we all kind of have our reference headphones. We throw our notes in, but it was a pretty fun process to hear everything come together. And we'd never worked with TLA before. He was so nice to work with, man. He's like such a legend, but he's also one of the easiest people to work with, I would say, in my experience. So it's great.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Rain City Drive.
No. Nope.
We won't take that.
No.
Really? Why not? That was such a great loophole.
No. Nope.
30, flirty, thriving.
There we go.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Okay.
So in the same vein as the last question, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to invoke in your listeners?
I want them to feel. I just hope I don't know. I just hope they can adapt it to their own lives and things that they're going through. And it's pretty like personal to me, but hopefully it resonates. I don't know. I think, we tried to kick it off with a bang and kind of keep the energy up. And like I said, by that last track, it starts out really acoustic and kind of whatever. And then it builds back up to a big crescendo at the end. So I want people to be kind of like geared up and then just kind of like let it all go at the end or something,
Yeah, makes sense. So what is your favorite memory that you made while creating this album?
I really liked recording vocals with Eric Ron. That was a blast. He is a pretty adept singer himself. And so just us nerding out on vocal stuff and doing little, vocal stacks and harmonies was really fun. I would say the most gratifying to me probably was those moments where we were in the studio with Matt Squire, who we worked with next, and I would be up at night trying to come up with something, and you get that idea that you're like, oh, thank God something popped into my head. And I think it's always those moments for me, because I don't know if I'm ever going to come up with anything cool again until it happens. And then I'm like, this is it. If I can just not ruin this idea, this could be really cool,
Yeah.
So yeah, I literally I think for a song like If I Was Right or Dying For, I can remember like walking around and just like a little teary eyed, just being like, yes. Cause I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? So you need that initial spark of inspiration. And then I think the skill part of it comes in where you have to be able to know what to do with that. But if you don't have the idea, it's just going to be uninspired. And I can write stuff for other people or whatever, and I don't need to be inspired, and I can just write something that sounds like a song. But I really want to be able to connect with it, if I'm going to be the one to sing it. So
of course, that's completely valid. I understand.
Yeah.
So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour. You're at a gas station for a rest stop. You're going in. What is your snack of choice?
Water doesn't count.
You can grab a water if you want. If that's your snack, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't been eating too much in terms of. What would I get? I would get like some maybe like cashews or something if they got them.
Okay,
that's good.
I might get a little like vegan like protein shake
kind
of vibe. I'm on sort of like I've been doing vegan for a minute, and then when I was at home, I was also doing like gluten-free and like no added sugar. So I'm a lot of fun. So cashews would be great.
Perfect for the road.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, they don't spoil.
Yeah. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
The band would be Zach. If we were a dish, like a meal, what kind of dish would we be?
Probably something with like everything.
A platter, yeah. There we go.
That's like a goulash or something. Where you just have like a bunch of stuff kind of thrown in.
Yeah, just
like a golden corral.
Like a golden corral or like a jambalaya. I'm getting just like some kind of a buffet type setup. A little bit of everything.
All right, I like that.
Just maybe like a Thanksgiving plate where you can have a lot of different elements, but then the way that we want you to eat it is just to like soup it up, baby. Just mix it all together. Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Perfect. So for these last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
Sure. How dare you?
So we're actually going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink? This is our third food question.
And last
we like food here.
So you're asking for food and drink.
Yes.
Yes, food and drink. Last meal. Yeah.
God, I'm such a baby. I literally I was like starting to almost get sad about it. I was like, ask me.
No.
I think the next album is going to be all about this question. I think I would have to do last meal. Mm-hmm. It would be oh shit. I'm taking this way too seriously. Maybe some any kind of soup. Let's do like some like potato soup or something. Mm-hmm. Boring. And then for the drink, it would have to be some nice rooibos tea.
Ooh.
All right.
Ideally prepared by my mother, who would be inconsolable. I write the lyrics. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
She'd be inconsolable.
Yeah, agreed.
As the kids say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
The land of Harry Potter.
Ooh, what house are you?
God, such a stupid millennial answer, but I would say Slitherdoor. Which I know Gen Z would be like, pick a house. That's not the point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Probably Gryffindor. Probably.
Gryffindor? Okay, that's cool. I could see that. That's fair. Yeah.
Something loud, not Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. I feel like there's not. I don't know. I would need to be in one of the big boys.
Yeah, that'd definitely be Gryffindor then.
All right, good. We're good.
So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question.
Oh.
Yeah. What is your favorite color?
Orange.
You have a specific shade of orange?
Ideally not like too yellow. Mm-hmm. But I've always liked it since I was a kid, and it's just a real easy win.
Yeah.
Like my mom was nice enough to get me a new suitcase recently, and it is orange, and it's just an easy win. I'm just like, I love it. It's orange.
And you can also be like, that's my suitcase.
The big orange suitcase is mine. So if you guys are ever at the airport and you want to, steal my stuff, chances are it's probably mine.
Perfect. So as Gloria said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
We have an album coming out in a week. I think we already touched on, but we might as well touch on it again.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not sure when this is airing, but I know Blood Runs Cold is coming out this week, which would be great. That'll be our last single pre-album. And I'm really excited for people to hear that one. I think it's going to be well received. I hope, anyways.
For sure.
Crossing the fingers. All right. Well, thank you for now. This has been Matt from Rain City Drive, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.